5 most common mistakes when using the Fujifilm Instax Mini Evo. Number 1, forgetting to charge the camera. The Instax Mini Evo battery is pretty good and it lasts a long time, and that's kind of the problem because you charge it up, use it, then you kind of forget about it for a month, and then you want to try to use it again and the battery might be depleted. It's not like your phone where you're used to charging every night, overnight. It doesn't require regular charging, so it's really easy to forget. And once you forget to charge it, you're kind of out of luck because the charging is kind of slow and it has an internal battery, so you can't swap out the batteries manually. Number 2 is not using a micro SD card in the camera. The camera has an internal storage, but it's really small. It can only hold like 45 images, I think. So I highly recommend to get a micro SD card and put it in the camera. Always keep it in there. That will expand your storage to thousands of pictures. You can get the smallest micro SD card you can find. It's really hard to find smaller than 16 gigabytes, and that'll give you thousands of images. Another really good reason to keep a micro SD card in the camera is if you want to get off the digital images from the Instax Mini Evo into your computer. The easiest way to do it is to use the micro SD card, just to take it out of the camera and then plug it into your computer. If you find this video useful, please smash the like button. Number 3 is not using the zoom function. The Instax Mini Evo has a really wide lens built into the camera, which is really good for if you're trying to take pictures of like landscapes, or if you're traveling, taking pictures of buildings. But it's really not good fit if you're trying to take a portrait, especially single portraits of like a one person. So in that case, what you really want to do is not to get too close to your subject, because then you get like a really distorted look in your portrait. You want to kind of back away and then zoom on your subject digitally. I have a whole video posted on my channel on how to do this with the Instax Mini Replay, which is a really similar camera to the Instax Mini Evo. So you can check out that video, it'll be in the description. The camera only has a 5 megapixel sensor, which is not huge by modern standards, but there's plenty of quality to zoom in and crop pretty tightly because the resolution of the Instax screen is pretty small. So it's much better to have a nice flattering image of your subject than have a distorted image with slightly high resolution. I already have over 50 Instax videos posted on my channel, so if that's something you're interested, please consider subscribing. Number 4 is relying too much on the built-in flash. So the flash looks like a regular flash on like big cameras, but what it is, it's a tiny LED flash and that has a little diffuser over it. So it's not very powerful. The camera is pretty sensitive, so it does work, but you're not gonna be able to illuminate buildings and things like that, or if your subjects are too far away, even indoors. So don't rely too much on the flash because you're not gonna get good pictures. If you see you're not having enough light, either get closer or try to move your subject to where there's more light. And number 5 is not using the exposure compensation. The dynamic range in the Instax Mini Evo is not nearly as good as a modern smartphone like the iPhones, because it doesn't use as much computational technology as the modern smartphones. The smaller smartphones have really big chips and there's a lot of R&D that goes into it. The Instax Mini Evo just can't compete. So it's really hard for the camera to capture the whole scene, especially if you have a lot of differences between the really bright areas and the dark areas. So if you have both really dark and really bright areas in your picture, you want to use the exposure compensation to select which part of the image you want to have properly exposed. So for example, if you're taking a picture of your landscape and the sky is beautiful, make sure you dial the exposure compensation so the sky is perfectly exposed. Or alternatively, if you're taking a picture of a building, you want to dial the exposure compensation so the building is nicely exposed and the sky can be blown out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.